Hi, this is Angie from Knitwegian, and I'm going to demonstrate how to knit a 1/4 left cross knit with double wrap. So first I'll be demonstrating how to do this with a cable needle and then without, and also I'll be doing it first in the English style, or it's also called throwing style, as that's what I've learned to knit in and I feel more comfortable with that. And then I'll do the continental knitting style. So feel free to look in the description below this video for the timestamp if you want to skip straight to the demonstration without a cable needle or the continental style. So here we have the slip stitch from the previous round, and I'll use the cable needle, slip that on and hold that in the front. Now this is different from the knit 1/4 left cross double wrap because we have the double wrapped stitch moving one over. So we knit the first one and then we do the double wrap on the second stitch. So I'll knit this one and then double wrap this by wrapping the yarn around twice, pulling the wraps and the needle through the stitch at the same time. And take that off the needle. I'll knit the last 2 stitches and then we'll use the stitch on the cable needle. So I'll pull that up and I'll knit through the back loop to keep that stitch flat. So there you have that flat. Alright, I'll show that to you. I won't show that again. You can always rewind to look at that on the cable needle if that's your preferred way of doing it. So now I'm going to show you how to do it without a cable needle, which I prefer because it goes quicker and it's one less thing to carry around with me if I want to take my knitting out and about, and I'm less likely to lose it. Or if I have lost it, I at least can carry on with my project. So there's my slip stitch from the previous round. Let's get that cable out of the way. Now, it might seem scary to have a live stitch off the needles, but you shouldn't have any issues with it as our movements are quite contained. So I know with this yarn, Malabrigo Rios, it holds quite well while I'm doing this. You may have to take extra care if your yarn is slippery, like those with silk content, but I haven't had any issues so far with doing this stitch. So just drop that off. Now you can see it's live there. It's okay. So I'll knit the next one. Now we want to do our double wrap. So insert my right needle. So wrap the yarn around twice, pull that through, do my last 2 stitches and pull up that drop stitch. So you see it just sat there, no problem. And it's fine, you know, it would be a problem if you now put your knitting away or you left it and you walked away, then I could see some issues. But while you're working with just a few little stitches, it's fine. Pick up that stitch. And I've knit through the back loop now to keep that stitch nice and flat. Now you might like it twisted better. You can experiment if you like, but I prefer it, the look of it flat. Okay, now I've got another little, I'll show you that again, but with a little extra sort of trick so you can go a little faster and have that stitch live for only 3 stitches rather than 4, and that just provides a little bit of extra security. So there's that slip stitch that needs to be dropped, but instead of dropping it straight away, I'll put my needle through that back loop. I'll put it through the back of that slip stitch. I'm being distracted by the motorbikes in the background. knit through that stitch like you would normally knit. Don't know if you can see that. Just gone through the back. Knit through that stitch. Now we'll wrap, this will just be a normal stitch. So just knit that normally. And as you take that one off the needle, that first stitch will just drop off. And I feel like that's a bit quicker for me, and it means I've only got 3 stitches that I've got to knit now while that's hanging loose rather than 4. So double wrap the next stitch as you knit that, and then the last 2. Grab that stitch, put it on the needle, knit that through the back loop so it lies flat. So I'll just do that one more time. Okay, so there's my slip stitch, and it might look like it's a bit of an extra step and it's a bit difficult, but you end up going so quickly when you get used to it. Just a few rounds or a few times you do that stitch and it'll be quick. So I just slip it behind my slip stitch, place it from the front to the back of the next stitch, knit that, and take it off the needle and drop that first stitch as well at the same time. Knit the second stitch with a double wrap. So insert my needle, wrap the yarn around twice, withdraw the needle and the wraps at the same time, knit the last 2 stitches and pick up that dropped stitch, knit through the back loop to keep it flat, and there you've got your stitches. So I hope that helps, and now I'll show you in the Continental style. Get to the stage of the pattern. So I'll probably look really awkward and all that, but you can have a good chuckle to yourself, and you'll be seeing, oh, I can knit that so much faster or better. So let's give it a go. All right, so that's the slip stitch there. So slip the cable needle through and hold that to the front. Knit 1 stitch, knit this double wrap stitch by wrapping the yarn around twice, pulling the needle through at the same time as the needle, and take that off the needle. Just knit the last 2 stitches and then knit from the cable needle. So yarn, there you go. And I knit it through the back loop to keep that straight. All right, let me demonstrate now how to do that without a cable needle. So just drop that stitch off the needle, and it might seem a bit scary having that stitch hanging there, but you shouldn't have any issues with it as our movements are quite contained. So I know with this yarn, Malabrigo Rios, it holds quite well while I'm doing this. You may have to take extra care if your yarn is slippery, like it's got a lot of silk content, but I haven't lost any stitch yet. It stays there quite nicely. All right, let's knit the next stitch. Now we're going to do our double wrap stitch. So put your needle through the stitch, double wrap the yarn and pull both the wraps and the needle through. Knit those last 2 stitches and pick up that drop stitch and knit through the back loop to keep it flat. And there you have it. So I'll show you I'll show it to you again, but this time with a little trick that I find makes it quicker for me to knit and means I have that drop stitch live for 1 less stitch. So a little bit of extra security if you're concerned. Okay, so there's my live stitch again. So instead of dropping that off the needle straight away, I slip my needle behind that slip stitch and into that next stitch to knit from front to back. Just a normal knit. And when I slip the stitch off the needle, it also drops my drop stitch off. So there it is. The next one is my double wrap stitch. So insert your right needle, wrap the yarn around twice, withdrawing the needle and the wraps together through the stitch. Knit those last 2 stitches and then pick up the drop stitch, knit through the back loop, if that's how you've picked it up, to make it flat. Okay, I'll show that to you one more time. Okay, there's my slip stitch. So I'm going to just insert that behind that slip stitch to the front. So from back to front, go into that next stitch to knit from front to back. Sorry, I've caught something there. There you go. Knit and drop that off the needle. And this is, you don't have to do that, it's just an optional thing. I just found for me it was faster. So now we're doing a double wrap stitch. So insert the needle, wrap that yarn around twice, drop that stitch off the needle, and knit the last 2, 1, 2, pick up that stitch, and knit. And there you have it. That is your left 1/4 left cross knit double wrap. Thank you so much for watching.